How do I interact with the 3D while my manifestation comes? This is a question that I have received quite a bit recently, especially in the Rosey Life course and community. During my live, I had several people ask me this question in many different ways, different variations of it. I want to address this question and help you move away from asking this question, because what you seek, you're going to find more of. So let's dive into what 3D really is and why you don't need to worry about what's happening in 3D. All right, so stick with me, because this is going to be a helpful video. We're going to move you out of staring at the 3D. All right, welcome. My name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart. So if you would like to do one-on-one coaching with me, you can go to TheRoseyLife.com, read all the info there, or you can join the Rosey Life course and community, where we meet weekly and I answer questions live. Last week was an amazing live. I think I was in there for almost 2 hours answering questions, and it was so good. And I had so many people view it, and I think I accidentally posted it on the channel just for a minute. So if you saw it and it disappeared, that was a oopsies. And so if you did get a chance to see it, you got a little taste of what I do every Wednesday in answering live questions. So, but it is intended for the Rosey Life course and community, and I do spend quite a bit of time in there answering questions, even throughout the week. I come in there, and I really am invested for those who are also invested. All right, so thank you so much for being here, you guys, and I really appreciate you guys watching my channel, liking the videos, and sharing my content with others. And I'm watching the Rosey Life grow, and it is a thanks to you guys, because you guys are sharing the videos and sharing the content, and I just really appreciate you, and I want to let you guys know that again. All right, so interacting with a 3D. I know, you guys, it feels like the 3D is like so real. It feels solid. It feels concrete. It feels like impossible, immovable. It feels like, well, it's not changing, and you feel like you're stuck. And some clients, I help them describe it. It feels like Groundhog Day, almost like nothing changes, nothing moves, moving, right? That's what it feels like. So because you're feeling that, let's get to why you're feeling that. The reason why you're feeling that is because you have an assumption. In other words, you're telling yourself a story, or you're telling yourself that's the best way to describe it, really. You're telling yourself a story, a repeated thought, that nothing is moving, and that nothing is changing, and that you're sad, and that you don't see anything moving around, and then you feel that way. Remember, if you feel a certain way, it's always coming from some assumption or some story that you keep repeating yourself. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the feelings of stuck and feelings that nothing's changing, because when you fall for it, then you start identifying with those feelings. Instead, say, wait a minute, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling stuck, and I'm feeling like I can't handle looking at the 3D because I'm telling myself a story. So what's the story that I keep telling myself? Because all you got to do is change that story, and that story becomes your new feelings. Do you see? In your new results, and what you see, it changes in front of you. So, but let's talk a little bit further, because the question is, how do I interact with a 3D? You don't have to interact with 3D if you don't want to, but the 3D is really, really amazing, because this is where all of the manifestations, all your desires actually unfold right before your eyes. So a lot of people spend so much time and invested in trying to figure out what to do with the 3D, how to act with the 3D, how to act with people, how do I respond, how do I talk to people, what do I do in the meantime? Right there, what is in the meantime while your manifestation pushes out? What does that mean? That means you're manifesting waiting, that you are assuming that this is going to take a while. You're assuming that's going to take a minute. You're assuming that something has to happen. You're assuming that you have to be patient patient or learn how to figure out the 3D. You're assuming that this is going to be a process. And I don't think you're doing it on purpose, right? I don't think anyone does it on purpose, but it just feels like it because you're being led by the mouth of time, thinking that you have to wait around and you have to behave a certain way and act a certain way. You're in that state. If that's how you feel, then you're in the state of waiting. You're in the state of time. You're thinking that things are going to take time. And I get it, right? Because our manifestations happen instantly, but they happen instantly within. And that is the only place that you ever want to or need to feel satisfied, that the manifestation is done within. By the time it comes out in expression, right, that's already the past. So you want to embrace that the manifestation is within. The satisfaction comes from within, right? The feeling of fulfillment of I got it is within. Because if you're waiting to feel fulfilled or satisfied when it expresses itself on the outside, that's what keeps you stuck in waiting. And that's why people look for, how do I handle the 3D? So it's not so much that you're wanting to handle the 3D or figure out how to interact with 3D, right? You're thinking that that's what you're trying to figure out. But really what you're doing is you're trying to figure out how to wait. That's what you're doing. You're trying to figure out, how do I wait the right way, instead of saying, no, the desire I have is fulfilled, it's done within, it comes outside. That is not my problem. That is not my job, right? I don't have to wait because it's already mine. So I want to take this even further though, because this is the story of interacting with a 3D, right? Interacting with a 3D. Well, let's talk about what 3D is. Okay, 3D is like, what is it? It's the past. If you can see, touch, hear, smell it, it's the past. The five senses, if you are using the five senses, whatever you're using the five senses for, you are experiencing the past. Past what? Past old story, past beliefs, assumptions, the old script. These are all different words that are used to describe the same thing. Okay, the old script. It's the projection of the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs. It's the projection, right? It's the physical senses. So all of this is what you do within. All of this is what happens within when you do an imaginal act, when you script, when you affirm. All of this is within. And then you experience it without. But all of this began within. Like Neville said, there's not one single thing that you can see around you right now. Take a look around your room that was not first imagined. Everything begins within. Everything begins with an imaginal act or an assumption or a declaration. And then you experience it in this 3D. So 3D is the last place that you want to figure out how to handle, because it is the leftovers. It is like what already took place within. It is the farthest thing from your source of power. I really want you to hear that. The 3D is the farthest thing away from your source of power. There is no power in 3D because you are the power. And what you see in the 3D is the farthest thing away from your power, from your authority. All right? So even going even deeper, okay? So when I say far away, this is what I want to give you, kind of just like this is not inclusive, this is just a brief summarization, right, of your power. So the I is the absolute pure power. It's absolute, no conditions. There's nothing there. It is just pure energy, pure love, pure power. That's the I. You notice it's even before I am. It's I. It's pure power. Unscathed, no time, no space. It just power. Imagine electricity. It's just power. It's not plugged into anything. It's not attached to anything. It hasn't become anything yet. It's just power. Okay, that's I. That's like the highest level of who you are. Then the first manifestation was the I am. That was a manifestation of the mind, of Christ consciousness. The I am, that was the very first manifestation of the mind. I am Christ consciousness, okay? And then after that Christ consciousness was the I am whatever, conditioned, right? I am the assumption. I am Rose, I am wealthy, whatever, I am happily married, I am whatever. That is the assumption, right? And then after that, farther away, right? Notice how we're going further and further away from that pure power, all right? After that is the 3D experience, okay? Where you experience your I am, your assumption. You experience them down here, okay? So this also is, and then so you have the 3D experience. So I like to say that I was talking to a couple of clients and I was explaining it to them about video games. If you've ever played a video game and you got a new video game, right? And I know the game has been used many times to explain what the 3D is, right? But I was watching my son set up a new game, and I've watched him set up a lot of games actually, and I've even set up my own games because I have a PlayStation. So I've actually, when I set up a game, right, what happens? You have to get a character. You get to choose a character. You don't just start the game and then you're in the game. No, you get to choose your character first. You get to choose your avatar, and you get to choose if it's a male, female, what kind of hair, the facial features, the color eyes, color hair, the weapons, and the characters even have a backstory, right? Did they get out of prison, or were they, some prince or whatever? And no matter, depending on the character you use, they're going to have a backstory, and they're going to have certain powers or abilities or traits because they go with their story. And once you're finished selecting your character, the version of you that you want, then you exit that selection mode, right? You exit that selection mode and you get plopped into the game. So, and now you're in the game, and now you got to start walking. You got to push the buttons, and you got to start moving, and you got to start doing your quest. You have to interact with people. You have to ride your horse, get in your car, jump mountains, whatever the heck the game is, right? You have to start moving. But the character just stand there, and you'll notice that stuff is happening. But if you don't move your character, you're not going anywhere, and you're not going to ever get through the game. But you have to make it move. Do you see? So I love this because that's what we're doing, and that's what we're all doing now, right? So you have to choose your avatar, then you enter the experience, or AKA the game, right? But the experience is the 3D, and you have to choose who you are. You have to choose who you say you are and who others are, and how your life is, and your version of you, and what's your backstory. And it doesn't matter if you've been telling yourself a backstory from your childhood to now. Doesn't matter what your experiences have been with money, with relationships, with health, with anything. It doesn't matter, because you can plop yourself out of the game at any time. When I'm playing a game, I can pause the game and go back into my avatar and change my hair, change my weapons, change whatever, right? And even I love this. I don't have it with me, but I was even looking at, like, in story mode, right? If you're in story mode in a video game, it's different. The difficulty of it changes, and story mode is easier because you're playing along with the story, versus if you're going outside of story mode, the game is harder. You can make it harder for yourself, or you can go with the flow of life, of what is happening in story mode, and then that the game actually is easier. Do you see? I love the analogy of the video game. If you research story mode and avatars and the video game, it's literally what we're doing, you guys. It's literally what we're all doing, right? So, but you have to choose your avatar. Okay, well, I put a little arrow here for choose avatar is a I am, the assumption, right? Who are you saying you are? That is choosing avatars, like who are you? What are you saying you are or you have, right? But then choosing, take away choose avatar or choose who you are, right? Choice, where does choice come from? Without whatever the context is. Let's just get to the choice. Where does choice come from? Choice comes from that I am, from that Christ mind, that Christ consciousness, right? That ability to choose from what? From everything. Because remember, first was I, and then I am, and then all creation was finished. So the choice comes from over here, from the all. Do you see? And your I, that absolute power, that is the Father, right? That is that Father and I are one, right? But my Father's greater than I. So when you choose, just think about your ability to choose, not, put whatever it is that you desire or you're manifesting to the side for a second, right? Just think about the ability to choose. I get to choose. And your mind's going to automatically want to go to your desire. But say, okay, but I'm going to get back to that in a second. I just want to focus on the fact that I can choose. Choice. That I have choice. I have the choice. I get to choose. Where does my choice come from? My choice comes from I am. I get to choose anything. Choose feelings, choose thoughts, choose desires, choose how I want things, choose. I get to choose. Just stick with that fact that we all get to choose. We have the power of choice. In other words, free will to choose. We get to choose anything we want. Do you see? And then you get to choose what you want. But I want you to see how far away the 3D, what you're trying to interact with, what you're trying to figure out, what you're trying to figure out how to deal with, it's so far removed from who you are, that pure power, or even I am. It's far away from it. And so instead of spending all your time and energy trying to figure out how to deal with a 3D, or how to interact with a 3D, or how to talk or feel or react or whatever, because the more that you're trying to figure out how to interact with the 3D and how to deal with the feelings and the thoughts that you're having in the 3D and all, the more that you put your focus here, the more stressed out, the more angry you get, the more sad you get, the more fearful you get, because you're giving this all of your attention, all of your power, and look how far it is. That's not where your power is, why it feels exhausting, like it feels like it never ends, like it feels like nothing's moving, because you're focused down here where your power doesn't lie. Your power is way the hell up here. So what do you want to be focused on? You want to be focused on I choose. I am the choice. I'm the choice. I get to choose what I want. I am the great I am. That's it. Your focus, if you put your focus right here, as much as you did over trying to figure this out, you would see a big change in your life, in your manifestations. You would see a big change. In fact, when you're in this up here, these two first ones, you don't even have to say what exactly it is that you want to, because you are identifying with who you really are. Because the I is everything. The I am is all choices, right? You don't even have to be specific when you're up in this realm, but when you're over here, you're in the details. You're trying to convince yourself, reprogram your subconscious mind. You're trying to talk yourself into it, act as if, fake it till you make it. You're doing all this nonsense that is so hard. It's so hard. It feels so hard. It feels like so much work. And when people come to me and they're like exhausted and they're crying and they're like, what the hell? Why isn't this working? Because you're down here That's not where your power is. So it feels tired. Will you eventually manifest stuff from affirming or scripting and doing all these processes and techniques? Yeah, you will, because you're so freaking powerful. However, the load, my friends, is lighter when you're up here. And you're just like, I don't care. If I'm not everything, I'm everything. I'm everything. I'm all of it. I'm everything right now. I'm all of it right now. Do you see? And when you find yourself waiting and feeling stressed out, understand you're down here. You are in the 3D. You are getting sucked into this realm where there's no power. And it feels like slow-mo. Nothing's moving, because that's the whole trick of time. It's supposed to be like that. That's not where your power is. You're not the experience. Remember, you're not the game. You're not the video game. You're not the experience. I call it the experience. I'm not the experience. That's not who I am. I am the I am. That's who I am. I'm the one that gets to select and choose my avatar and choose my life, my city. I get to build my city, kind of like Minecraft, right? You get to build your city however the heck you want to. You're the one with the controller, so you're the one that has to decide. But if you're feeling stuck, it's because you're sitting there down here waiting, right? That's not where your power is. Your power is in declaring and identifying with who you really are, all right? So I intend that this was helpful and that you guys look at the 3D, fall in love with 3D. And you guys are gonna, maybe some of you might think this is totally corny, but I don't care. I love The Little Mermaid, and probably because I'm a Pisces, but anyway, I love The Little Mermaid. And even The Little Mermaid in her song, right? She says, I have everything. I have gizmos and gadgets galore, but I want more. And I'm like, hell yes, girl, right? That's who we are, right? And that is what we're here for, is to experience more, to want more. But she's a little mermaid, right? And she wants to go have fun and experience the world outside of being in the ocean, right? And that's all we're doing. We're just experiencing our feet, experiencing our legs, experiencing that long hair, experiencing being with someone, experiencing having stuff, right? We're just here experiencing it, but that's not who you are. You're not the 3D experience. You are the great I am, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much, you guys, again, for helping the Rosey Life grow. And I love you guys so much, and I appreciate your being here, and I feel your love and support. I love you guys so much, and I thank you again, because you are all really, truly freaking amazing. I'll see you soon. Bye.